Ex-Raiders CEO Amy Trask was not shocked by Jameis and Saints players going rogue on head coach Dennis Allen. Woo! I have been getting this video all day. A ton of you have sent me this video. If I had $1 for every time someone sent me this, well, I'd have about $6. But regardless of the financial implications, I cannot wait. I've been excited all day to watch this video. So let's go ahead and get involved.
Amy, I would ask you what your reaction was. In what world does this happen to a team where a quarterback basically gives his head coach the middle finger?
In what world? When your head coach is Dennis Allen.
Ooh.
Susie.
Oh, baby. Amy. Ooh, I got a feeling me and Amy are about to get along. Amy Trask just all of a sudden became one of my favorite people in sports. Goodness. Continue, Amy.
I'm speaking from experience. As you know, I overlapped with Dennis Allen in Oakland for 1 year. And everything I observed during that year is such that when that play happened, I wasn't the least bit surprised. Now, if it happened to any other coach, I would have been surprised. It happened and Dennis was the coach. I was not the least bit surprised.
Scathing.
Shortly after Dennis was hired by the Saints, I was asked about him, about his coaching, his leadership on CBS Sports, on that other pregame show, CBS Sports Network. And I answered in the following manner because now I have an addition to that answer. I shared my views of Dennis's leadership, and I use that word in quotes.
Woo! Amy, look, y'all know how I operate with these videos. I'm usually every 2 seconds, 3 seconds, I'm pausing, I'm dropping golden tidbits left and right. I mean, I'm enthralled right now with what Amy Trask is saying. I mean, right now, we're a minute in, okay, 25% through the video. At this point now, she is calling into question Dennis's leadership. She's saying she's not surprised this happened, obviously because of the type of leader that he is. And this, look, say what you want. Again, guys, this is not my opinion. This isn't, just a theory. This is coming from a former NFL CEO who was on the same team as Dennis Allen. She knows Dennis Allen better than any of us. All right. So whatever she's saying, now she may have her own biases. She may have her own, she might just not like the guy. I don't know. But we've got to take what she's saying pretty strongly here. This is kind of what we've been asking for. We've been saying, we've been hypothesizing. We've been saying, I don't know. I mean, it just seems like he lost the locker room. The players don't respect him. He has no authority. This wouldn't happen to any other coach. Would this happen to Shanahan or McVay or Belichick or whoever? No. So we've been kind of theorizing that something is wrong with Dennis Allen as a leader. And now Amy Trask seems to be validating that.
While he was with the Raiders. And I quickly noted that, look, we can all learn on the job. We can grow on the job. We can improve on the job. I not only grew on my job, I grew up on the job. I grew up on the job. I learned. I made mistakes. And I said, Dennis can do that as well. And what that play made clear to me is he has not changed his leadership style. So was I surprised?
That's what I've been saying. I've been saying for weeks, the guy is who he is. All right. He's not a young coach who's learning and growing and evolving and trying to figure things out. This isn't his first year. This is a guy who now we've got 4.5 solid years, or I guess the half is not solid, but 4.5 years of experience to see what Dennis Allen is all about. And the results are bad. The results, just win-loss results, are bad. And now we're seeing stuff like this. Now we're seeing what he's done to a franchise's culture, to the identity of the Saints. Listen, the culture of the Saints, the identity of the Saints, right now is decaying. There is a decaying situation. The team doesn't seem to be on the same page as the coach, who doesn't seem to be on the same page as the backup quarterback, who's calling in the plays, and now the owner's getting involved. It's a mess. This is why I don't understand how you can bring him back. I know everything points to Dennis Allen coming back, and I have now accepted that Mickey is not going to do anything with Dennis. But the more I hear this stuff, and I know Mickey Loomis is hearing this. I hope so. I know he watches the channel, so he'll hear it after I post this video. But when you hear this kind of stuff, and you see what's going on the field, in the locker room, you're hearing from the players, I'm assuming during their end of the year evaluations, when you're hearing from the fans who have been booing this team all year, I mean, at some point you have to wonder, like, man, is this the right guy? Is this just the right guy as far as like fit? Just as far as culture and identity and team and all that stuff. Not even equating the fact that he's 30 games under 500 as a head coach. Not even bringing that into the equation. Just what it's doing to the very fabric of the team. Like Pete Carmichael, we've been skewering him all year long. Pete Carmichael is a problem. Pete Carmichael cannot call plays. He's a bad play caller. He's a bad offensive coordinator. But he's not decaying the fabric of the team. He's not breaking the culture of the New Orleans Saints. He's not causing a schism in the locker room. People aren't defying him. You know, like Dennis Allen is now somehow trumped, even as bad as I thought he could be. He's trumped that by this new issue that we're seeing.
That happened. I may have been one of the only people who was not surprised that happened.
Okay, so what do you know that we
Tell
don't
us.
know?
Well, I observed him for a year. I don't know if it was 12 months, but it was obviously for a full season.
No problem. No, it's okay.
In Oakland. Day one, he's hired, calls a staff meeting or asks that a staff meeting be called of every single person in the organization. And everyone was so excited, and every single department, coaching, trainers, equipment, tickets. I made sure every business department was there. The auditorium was packed. And he got up and he was really rude. Not only didn't he demonstrate leadership to enthuse the staff and to excite the staff and to lead the staff, he was demeaning. He was derisive. And people...
Derisive? Word of the day. I'm not even sure what that means. Somebody, and I'm a former journalist, okay? Everyone knows the background. Someone go in the comments. What does derisive mean? I mean, word of the day from a guest. Guest word of the day. First ever guest word of the day that we've ever had. This does kind of track, though, ladies and gentlemen. Think about all the interviews we've seen with Dennis. Think about all the reaction videos we've done with Dennis, whether it's him, you know, with the reporters or him in the post-game locker room, all that stuff. He does kind of give that air of just kind of everything's coming from a place of negativity. You know, it's always the team against the fans or the team against the outside noises. We heard that all season long. He's never like, it's not a rah-rah motivator. It's not a motivational kind of guy. It's more of a backs against the wall kind of this angry motivator. And I guess that's what she's portraying, that the way he talks is a demeaning, is a just kind of a rude and kind of rough around the edges. And I'm not saying you got to be Joel Osteen. I'm not saying you got to be Derek Carr. And I'm sure there's guys out there who are big time in your face. Like Dan Campbell is an in your face, rough around the edges motivator. But it's coming from a place of energy. It's coming from a place of positivity. Look at the culture that Dan Campbell has created in Detroit. That city, that team, they're all up, they're all together, they're all these warriors, these gladiator spirit that Dan Campbell has. You can feel his culture already in Detroit. I think it's pretty obvious. Dennis Allen is like the opposite of that. It's not this like rise up gladiator warrior motivator. It's just like this dark, you know, anti the fans, anti the outside voices. It's just like super negative kind of thing here. So I get what she's saying.
People walked out of that room just stunned.
Can you give some specifics? Because now I'm fascinated to know what it was that was.
Well, and if you think about it as a fan. If you're a Saints fan, Dennis has certainly not ever, in his 2 seasons with the Saints, he's never ever rallied the team, and like she's saying that, you know, he could not motivate, he could not enthuse the staff and anyone else. He's never done that with the Saints. He's never enthused the city, the fans, the staff, the whoever. It's very insulated. It's very bubbled. It's very in there. You know, he has not. I don't think he can do that. I think he's missing that. I think he's missing that connection with the fans, or that connection with the city, or that connection with the media, that just the ability to be a head coach, to be a talisman, to be the face of the franchise. Because next to the quarterback, for most teams, the head coach is the face of the franchise. Pretty much, right? If you think about a Pete Carroll, you think about some of those guys who have been with the team for a long time, they are kind of the face of the franchise, and they can enthuse the fans. They can enthuse the media. They can enthuse everybody. Dennis is the opposite. Dennis seems to make enemies with the media, make enemies of the fans, make enemies of the outside voices. So, tracks.
It's so rude. Or
you know, I'm sorry that I don't have any specific quotes. It was quite a while ago, but my overall impression, and by the way, after that meeting, there was a line, and I don't mean literally a line, but people flooding into my office from the finance department and the video department and the legal department, just looking at me like, what was that? And again, I'm not here. Well, I'm here. I'm right next to you. But my point is not to belabor the past, but I gave him every benefit of the doubt that he would learn and grow from what happened in Oakland. Just like, as I said, I learned on the job, I grew on the job, I made mistakes on the job. I like to believe I improved on the job. I gave him the same benefit of the doubt that he could go to New Orleans and learn from what went wrong in Oakland, where the locker room, you know, there's that expression, he lost the locker room. I don't know that he ever had the locker room to lose it. But what I saw in that game, when Jameis indicated that, yes, he knew the team was instructed to take a knee in a victory formation, but the team decided not to do that, that told me everything I needed to know.
Yeah, I mean, look, sounds about right? Like, sounds like a mirror image of Oakland, where prickly pear, kind of pushing away everybody, can't enthuse, can't motivate, lose the locker room. Sounds like what we just saw in the last 2 years. And don't get it twisted. Again, you don't have to be Tony Robbins. Bill Belichick is not Tony Robbins, but Bill Belichick gets the most out of his players. His players respect him. You can elicit respect and motivation and passion and whatever else. You can elicit those responses from people in different ways. You don't have to be Mr. Nice Guy. You don't have to be Mr. Hugs and Kisses. Like, Nick Saban is not Mr. Hugs and Kisses, okay? He's not walking around in the pregame warm-ups, you know, kissing everybody's forehead. He doesn't do that. But he elicits respect. He elicits motivation from the fan base, from everybody. You know, Belichick, same thing. Belichick, when people talk about Belichick, when you hear Julian Edelman or Tom Brady or whoever, or any of the coaches who have come from the Belichick tree, when you hear them talk about him, it's out of a place of reverence. It's out of a place of respect. You know, it's kind of like that tough love kind of situation. So there are definitely different styles, for sure. So I don't want this to get misconstrued that Dennis or any coach has to be a certain way to succeed, because that's not the case. You can do all that stuff in very different ways. The problem is Dennis isn't eliciting the response. Dennis isn't eliciting what you want. She is telling you to your face, ladies and gentlemen, he can't command a locker room. He can't command a franchise. She's telling you in not so many words, he's not built to be the head coach of an NFL team. That's what we've been saying. He's not built for this. He's built to be a defensive coordinator in the film room, off away from everybody, just doing the defense. That's what he's built to do. He's not built for what he's asked to do. And now that the fans are turning on him, and if you don't think the fans are turning on him, again, there's a GoFundMe fundraiser right now for a Fire Dennis Allen billboard in New Orleans. Link in the description if you want to join. The fans don't like him. So do you think this guy who she's saying is rude, and divisive and derisive or whatever other word she's saying. You think that guy is going to handle that situation well? No. This is going to be a disaster. This is going to be a dumpster fire. This is the worst. This is the last situation that Dennis Allen is built to handle. His personality, his experience, like Amy just said, he hasn't changed. It's the same thing. So it's going to give you the same results. Very illuminating interview from Amy Trask here. I mean, I wish she would have, really hit us with some more details, because 4 minutes wasn't long enough. I could have listened to 4 hours of Amy. She knows, guys. She knows. Dennis, he is who he is, and that ain't good. And it's certainly not a head coach. And unfortunately, right now, it's what he is. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this interview. Thank you again to everyone who sent it to me. If you do want me to react to a video, if you do want me to see a video, if you want me to check something out, Twitter, best case, our best place to do it. Down in the description is the link to all my socials, business, email, all that stuff. So however you want to get in touch with me, feel free. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you in the next video.